Hi quilting friends, this is Janae King and we are doing month number 4 of Cabin by the Lake, and today I'm showing you the cabin. So we're really getting close to almost being halfway done with this wonderful quilt. So it's getting exciting. So first of all, I just want to show you what's going to be in your kit this month. And I have included a special little insert that I have typed up for you, and I'm hoping that it just better explains the fabrics that you're going to find in your kit and how you're going to cut them. So let's go through each of the fabrics so that you know what you're getting. The first fabric is going to be a dark brown, and that is for the roof. Then you're going to have an orange dot, and that's going to be for the roof peak. You're going to have a rectangle piece of sky. You're going to have another piece of sky. It's a long, skinny piece. You're going to have a little square of brown for the chimneys. You're going to have a long piece of red, and this is going to be for this strip across here and for the pieces on either side of the windows. You're going to have another piece of orange dot, and that's actually going to go on either side of the door piece. You're going to have a piece of blue, and that's for the door. You're going to have actually two pieces of brown crackle, which go on the top of the windows and below the windows. You're going to have a piece of yellow for the windows. You're going to have a piece of dark blue for the piece that's way over there on that side. You're also going to have a piece of green, which is going to go in the lower right corner of your block. So one of the things I did to make this block a little bit easier and to just have it make sense for me is I blew up the cabin diagram about 150% on my printer. I also colored it in with colored pencils like I did, I think that was last month. I also marked in each of the rectangles what size I was going to be cutting that down to. It just made it easier for me to see what fabrics I was going to be cutting, where they were going to go, and just, I don't know, made sense in my brain. So I've also marked on here some sizing that I hope you can see, and that's the size that each of these sections should be before you sew them together. So the first section, which is the front of the house, that should measure 8.5 before you sew it to this section. This section is going to measure 12.5, and this section right here is going to measure 4.5. So those are the sizes you're going to want them to be before you sew them together. This section of the house and this section, sorry, it's a cabin, are going to be sewn together. Then you're going to sew on this top sky and chimney piece. And then the very last section will be the sky and the grass over on the right hand side. The next thing I want to explain to you is how to use templates. Because when you make this section right here, you will actually be using templates. Inside your pattern, you will find a piece of paper that has the templates on it. A, B, and C templates. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to trace and cut each of those templates out on just white paper. And the first step that you're going to do is you're going to trace just the corners and just put a dot there. The next thing you're going to do is draw a line between the dots. The next thing you want to do is add a 1/4 inch beyond that drawn line that you just made. So I am a 1/4 inch from that first line over, and then I've drawn a line, and I've done that on all 3 sides. Then I'm ready to cut that piece out. Okay, so I've just made template B, and this has the 1/4 inch seam allowance added to all sides. Once you've cut your templates out of the paper, then you're ready to use them. The pattern specifically says to use the templates on the right side of the fabric. And you can put the paper on the fabric, trace around it with a marking pencil, and then cut on those lines. It's as easy as that. So the cabin block is pretty simple. It's mostly just going to be rectangular pieces that you're going to be cutting out. The only spot where I need to explain a little bit more in detail how it's made is going to be the roof piece that's right here when you attach the sky piece that's over in the corner. So first off, let me explain a little bit about the roof peak. So for these pieces, you'll just want to follow the instructions. You'll be cutting out templates A, B, and C, and you'll be sewing those in the order that the pattern says. So really quick, I want to explain the roof piece because it's just a little bit tricky. This is going to look like. It's about 6.5 by 12.5 inches. Okay? What you're going to want to do, and this is what the pattern says to do, is from the right corner, you're going to measure over 4.25 inches and you're going to make a little mark. You will take a marking pencil of some sort, a chalk pencil. From that 4.25 inch mark to the corner of the block, you're going to draw a line. You're going to want to draw another line 1/4 inch away from that first line on the right side of that first line. So you're going to have actually 2 pencil lines on this piece, and I am going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see what that looks like. So you'll have 2 pencil lines on your fabric, and so you want the sky piece to look like this when it's sewn on. So what you're going to want to do is flip this right sides together, and you want to have 1/4 inch of the blue sticking up on the top of the triangle right there, and you're going to be on the 1/4 inch line with the edge of the blue fabric. You're going to sew in 1/4 inch from the edge of the blue, and when that is sewn and folded back, you're going to have your sky piece sewn onto your block. You'll want to press that, and then you'll want to trim it. So if the blue sky lops a little bit over off the edge of the brown for the roof, just trim it a little bit. This blue piece does not have to be absolutely perfect in the corner of that rectangle. It's just for the sky effect, and we're not trying to match up points perfectly here. So just trim it a little bit if you need to. Press it back, trim the edges, fold the blue back, and trim off the excess brown underneath, leaving about 1/4 inch seam from your stitch line. Once you have all your pieces cut and your roof peak finished, then you can start putting the whole entire block together. So I did it in 4 sections. This would be the first section, the second section, and the third section, and then the 4th section, which will go on last. So stay tuned for the next block, which is going to be the sun, and it's going to be so much fun.